Hey, how are you? It is Mel Robbins. I am the author of the 5 Second Rule book. If you haven't read it, you should pick it up. It's awesome. I'm also the host of the daytime syndicated talk show, The Mel Robbins Show. I want to welcome you. Let's start. And why don't you tell me where you're watching from? And on a scale of 0 to 10, how are you feeling today? 0 being, ugh, I'm still in my bed, Mel. I'm still in my pajamas. I am unable to think about anything except for negativity. And a 10 being like, actually, I feel fantastic today. So tell me how you're doing. I'm honestly, I got a little bit of a stomach ache. I'd be a 10 because I had a breakdown. I've moved through it. So I'm on the other side of it emotionally, but my stomach hurts. So I'm about an 8. I like an honest answer. That's why I'm telling you what I am honestly. Oh, maybe I'm a 7. I just pulled on my sweatpants and I think my dog has chewed them out. So he has just ruined my new pandemic sweatpants. Thank you very much, YOLO. And it's my fault because I, of course, left them on the ground last night when I took them off. Okay, so where are you watching from? How are you feeling? We have a super important topic today. And it's a topic about how do you stop ruminating? If your mind is constantly fixating on either negative self-talk, how many of you can relate to that? Give me a thumbs up, even though it's a thumbs down if you're doing it to yourself. Or ruminating about something bad that's going to happen. Maybe you're worried about running out of money. Maybe you're worried about your health. Maybe you're worried about the doomsday scenario associated with COVID-19. I don't know what you're ruminating about. All I know is the conversation that we're about to have today is going to help you. It's going to give you tools to ground you. It's going to give you some research back things that you can do to stop the pattern of constantly defaulting to the negative, which, by the way, is a pattern. You're going to learn a lot about the connection between stored trauma from your past and the anxiety response to it. And you're going to leave here empowered to apply these tools to your own life and empowered to share them with the people that you love in your life. So let's go to White Plains, New York, where Rivki is standing by, and I can't wait to talk to her. Welcome to the broadcast. Thank you for being here. And why don't you tell me, what can I help you with?
Well, I think a lot of it stems, going back, I would say 20 years when I was sick with anxiety, depression. I was in the hospital. And I was okay on and off. I deal with terrible anxiety, especially it's more the health anxiety for me,
Okay.
specifically the health.
Okay.
Anything health related triggers it, but I think it's always for me just being stuck. Like I think this last month I went into such a bad hole that it was very hard to pull out of, and it kind of brought
When
me
you
back.
say whole, what do you mean? Can you describe what you mean when you say whole?
What I mean is like the fear that overtook me. I couldn't pull out. I was very stuck, and no matter what I did, it was so bad. I wasn't sleeping, and I was living 24/7 in my head. Fear, anxiety. It was just taking over my whole life. And I wasn't functioning, and it brought me back to 20 years ago when I was not well, when I was in the hospital, and to have to ask my doctor to call the meds. But even the meds weren't helping because I was like, you're so far gone. And it's always the shame for me talking about it. For me, doing this was a step today because I'm always afraid what people are going to say, what people are gonna think because of this anxiety, this fear, and I'm tired of that. I'm tired of living like this. I cannot go back down this path. I refuse.
Exhausting, I'm sure, and terrifying.
It was exhausting and terrifying, and the fact that I'm alone in my apartment. So it makes it worse because I'm 24/7 with my thoughts that are just going around and around and around in my head between the anxiety, the fear, and then focusing on different body parts. Oh my God, this is hurting. What's going on? This is hurting. What's going on? And that sets off such a, a, a negative way for me. And I decided after the second time, this is the second bout like this, you know,
Okay.
I haven't been like this in 20 years. I'm not going back down this path. And then I saw your segment on Friday, and it just made me just reach out, almost like I was doing a kind of 5-second rule. And I just sent the text right after the show and didn't think twice. Like, I just did it because I
Okay,
need to
so
take
I want you to help me understand something. Let's
Sure.
go back 20 years. So 20
Sure.
years ago, when you faced this health crisis and you were in the hospital, were you in the hospital because your anxiety and mental health issues were so bad
Yes.
that you needed to go inpatient?
Yes. And I've never publicly disclosed this because I was always afraid, and especially I think from the community I come from, where everything, you know, you don't talk, and always, no one really knew when I was in the hospital. I never told anybody. People just, my family knew, some of my close friends, but otherwise I really was not talked about. So I
Yep.
kind of just, it was just pushed over, and it was always that shame, you know, and I did have a lot of shame with it, and sometimes I still do. And I judge myself for it. I judge myself for the emotions, like, and I don't want to live like this anymore. I want to take my power back.
Yes. So first, let me talk about shame. So you probably know this, but in case somebody watching this doesn't know this, shame is when you make yourself wrong rather than the thing that's bothering you wrong. So
Okay.
instead of saying, I hate anxiety, anxiety is a bad thing, anxiety sucks, you go, I hate myself for having anxiety. I suck because I have this. And so what we need to do is we need to separate the fact that you're a person who has struggled with anxiety for a long period of time. And you need to separate that fact from the judgment of it, okay? Because you're also, and it's possible, and you know why I know it's possible? Because I have struggled with anxiety for 25 years, for severe postpartum depression. I have done things in my life when I have been in an anxious state and when I have had panic attacks that I deeply regret, things that I am ashamed of, but I do not feel shame about me because you need to learn how to forgive yourself when you're in survival mode. And the thing that I'm going to teach you today are things that you can do so that when the anxiety comes, you can separate yourself from it and ground yourself so that the anxiety can rise up, because that's just how you're wired. That's how I'm wired. I had my first anxiety attack in 6 years 2 days ago. I thought that anxiety was in the rear view mirror. I thought I had waved goodbye to it. I thought that I had cured it. I pretty much have, but anybody who's not feeling anxious right now, there's something wrong with them. I think you're normal if you feel anxiety right now about all that uncertainty. It's a normal response to what's happening. To feel uncertain, to feel anxious. And what you have to really start teaching yourself is, first of all, we got to remove the judgment. Anxiety is also a gift. And the reason why it's a gift is because, yes, it is.
I'm surprised to hear that. Well, that's a first.
It's a gift because it means you are a deep feeling person.
Wow, I
You
am.
you are. And that is one of your superpowers. You have tremendous empathy.
I
You
do.
can probably spot patterns a mile away. You are probably a very kind and caring person.
I am.
And one of the reasons why you worry so much is because you care and love so much. And so anxiety happens in people that have their feelings turned on. And living a deeply full of feeling life is one of the richest kinds of lives you can lead. It is way better than being numb. It is way better than feeling disconnected. See, you're hyper connected to everything that's going on. That's what we've got to learn to modulate. But the first step is you need to write a letter. This is going to sound really weird, but I want you to write a letter to your anxiety, and I want you to thank it for what it has brought to your life. Because the shame is not going to the shame only keeps you down and keeps you more anxious. If you literally say to yourself, I have anxiety for a reason. I was born with this, and I was born with this because I have also been given the gift of being able to feel deeply, of being able to care deeply. And what I have not done very well is learn how to control it. So if you learn how to be able to let it come and go without reacting to it, the anxiety will no longer control you. Okay? Now, do you see anything that comes to mind when I say, I want you to find one positive about being a person that has anxiety?
I'm able to help others. I think because of all the stuff I have tried for the last few years, I've been watching a lot of different people, especially you, and I even got your book. I was reading that the last couple of days, and I took another step, and I went and got your journal as well to start, to help me push me. But I think because of my experiences, I can see when other people go through it, and the same tools that I've used over the last couple of years, I try to help others with and share with others.
Terrific. You would never be able to do that if you haven't lived the life that you've lived.
No.
And the more that you talk about the fact that you are also not even recognizing how strong you are. You were impatient, and after being impatient, you have gone on to live for decades a very healthy life. You have not gotten profoundly sick, despite your worrying about it. And so you have survived this, and because of this pandemic, every single trigger on the planet is right in your face. You told me at the beginning of this that your greatest fear is getting sick, correct?
Yes.
And why is that your greatest fear?
It's actually something I haven't been able to talk about with anybody because, like, even my friends,
Okay.
over the last month, I've told them, we can't talk about the virus. We can't talk about it. Don't talk about it with me, because I get so triggered.
Okay. Why do you get so triggered? Let's go back in time, because this has been an issue for you for a long time. Because I think that there's a big difference between emotional trauma and the anxiety response. And what you're dealing with is unhealed emotional trauma from something that has happened in your past. And you developed anxiety because you became hyper vigilant about what happened to you, what you experienced. And I want to teach you why it's going to be really important for you to start using the 5-second rule and some other grounding tools to create some distance between the trauma that triggers you and your anxiety response to it. Okay? Does that make sense?
Yes, I think if I had to go back and look at probably what triggered me, it would be two things that come to mind. Well, my mother died when I was 18 from cancer. So I witnessed a lot of her going through chemo and radiation as an early child, in my teens, when I was 16. And I think and then in 1998, I almost dying from surgery. I survived that, being told on the operating room after I came out, it was a simple procedure. And then I was told that, oops, we just nicked your artery. We got to rush you back in. And they thought I was going to crash.
Yeah.
and they had me under really fast, and then surviving a car accident.
Okay, so hold on. You got three things.
Yeah.
You got three things. And I bet what's associated with all those three things is that at some point you were told things were going to be okay. And you saw that that actually didn't happen. Your mom probably tried to reassure you despite how worried you were about her, and she died from cancer.
She was an amazing person. Yeah.
I'm sure she was. Same thing happened with the surgery. And so what will never work for you and what is probably very triggering for you is not only a health threat, but people telling you you're going to be okay. Because what's happened in your life is that that hasn't been true. So one of the things that I want to know is when your mother was battling cancer, where did you feel the anxiety in your body?
I don't know how much anxiety I was experiencing then. I think a lot of it came out after.
Okay.
Because I was young, didn't really understand a lot. We weren't told a lot. And I have a lot of sisters younger than me. So I was the oldest. So I had to, always be be the strongest. I think it came out years after when I started having the first anxiety. Actually, I think I had, if I would have to go back, was when I was 16 years old, was my first panic attack when I had jaw surgery. And then and I think the next anxiety probably started surfacing actually a little after my mother died, but more after the surgery. I think I went downhill the surgery. After almost dying, I became terrified of something happening, or maybe the stitches are gonna come undone, or maybe get an infection.
Right. So basically you're giving us a window into your mind. You just start thinking and thinking and thinking and thinking and thinking and thinking and thinking, and you don't have the grounding tools. And so I need to give you grounding tools, and I need to give you tools to be able to create space between the response to the trauma that you've experienced in your life and your anxiety reaction to it. That's what this coaching session needs to be about. Because if we can create a little bit of micro distance so that you can develop the self-awareness and the mindfulness to observe what's coming up, but not react to it emotionally, you will be able to start to diffuse this anxiety. Here's the first thing I want you to do. I want you to go through your whole day today. You got the 5-second journal. You can use that for this. I want you to write down what triggers you throughout the day. And I want you to write down when that trigger happens, you see the news, you have a thought, you see a color, you have a memory, whatever it may be. Then I want you to write down, what is your response to that emotional trigger? Do you start to panic? Do you start to overthink? What is the horrible story you start to believe? And yes, okay, because the first step to creating this micro distance between trauma and the anxiety response is, first of all, labeling and identifying all the triggers so that you see them coming. The second step is to start to understand why you have this trigger. And I think you might have this trigger of feeling anxious about things that feel scary because you grew up in an environment where you buried your feelings. And any feelings that get buried come back from the dead and start to kill you in your mind. And so because you had nowhere to express your feelings, you stuffed them all down, and they end up here with nowhere to go but around and around and around and around and around. And there are a lot of us that have that exact experience, whether you're the firstborn or you got to toughen up, or you are suddenly the one that's in charge because mom is sick or mom is working, and you have to become an adult and pull it together, and you're not allowed to have your feelings. We got to just kind of get through this. Stuffing it all down, it eventually comes back 100-fold. And so I think that your inpatient experience was decades of you not being able to talk about how you felt and it coming out as something that was too big for you to manage. And that's why the professionals stepped in. What's happening right now is all of these little triggers all day are triggering that same feeling of this is too big for me to handle.
I can't do it on my own.
Correct. And so the breakdown that you had, I can't do this on my own, that had you go inpatient, it's the exact same feeling that you're feeling right now because of COVID-19. And if you are like me, and part of your anxiety response is to just do and to fix and to get really busy and like get out there and help other people. And oh, no, I'm the one that helps. I don't help. Like, I don't need help. I help you. If that's your mode of anxiety too, is to do, this is your worst nightmare. It's my worst nightmare too, because there's nothing I can do to fix this situation. And so my coping mechanism isn't working in small ways. And so all of it starts to build up and you start saying to yourself, I can't do this on my own. I can't do this on my own. I can't do this on my own. And that's where you're staying trapped. Did I nail it correctly?
You pretty much did, because I think it goes down to I keep can't do this on my own. Like, why can't I be like someone else who has it all together, who doesn't have anxiety? Why can't I be normal? Why can't I be like them who live it, that they're not even thinking about this like I am? It's
you don't even know but see, here's the mistake you're making. You have no idea what those people are actually thinking and doing because they're probably not talking about it. And so, number one, this goes back to something that happened in the first 20 years of your life. And now that you're 20 years later, your body remembers exactly what it was like. And now your body is repeating the same thing that it did 20 years ago, which is causing you to have a breakdown. And so we're going to stop it. I'm sure you did, but you didn't. So let's celebrate that. You're sitting here talking to me. You're going to pull out a journal. You're going to write down all the things that trigger you, and you're going to write down the fact that this is exactly the same connection as what happened 20 years ago. And then here's what you're going to do. And this is the piece that's really difficult. Is I want you then, once you identify all of them, and you start journaling about the why and the connection to your past, when they start to come up again, you're going to count backwards, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, to distance yourself from that trigger. And then you're going to observe, where does the anxiety come up? For me, it starts in my stomach, it rises through my chest. Let it come.
Mine is in my chest.
Okay, let it come. Here it comes. This is that thing I do. It's like a hot flash. Here it comes. And then we have to come up with a mantra that starts to settle you. And what I would say is I would say something along the lines of, and we got to make this personal for you, something along the lines of, I can't control what's happening right now, but I'm going to get through it. Or I know I can't control what's happening right now, but today I'm safe. Or you could say, maybe I will get sick. If I do, I'll survive, because I always do.
See, right when you say that, I get the fear. I feel the fear go right through me.
Okay, so let it go. The fear, it's a hot flash. That's all that it is. It's a hot flash. What is it that you need to say to yourself? I can handle this because I am handling it right now. What is the mantra you need to say?
I'm stronger than I think I am.
Perfect. Perfect. I'm stronger than I think I am. I have survived everything that's happened to date. This virus has got nothing on me. It doesn't even know the badass bitch it's dealing with. Come and get me, man. Let's go.
I like that.
Yes, I like that you're laughing, because anxiety and trauma feels so serious. If you can kind of flip it a little bit and find the humor in your own humanity, in your own flaws, in your own struggles. Come and get me, fucking. You think you could take this shit down? Good luck. I'm going to the grocery store. Like, whatever it is. Because that is what's going to start to flip the response, because what's happening for you is the fear rises up, and then in your mind, you're afraid of the fear. So that then triggers you to think and think and think and think and think. And why do you think and think and think? I'm going to tell you why. Because you were trained to not talk about your feelings. That's why.
And I was too, I think I was also very shy, painfully shy as well, which didn't help as a child. So I didn't open my mouth, didn't stand up for myself. Or
Well, and I'm sure if you did, somebody probably would have told you not to talk about that stuff. And so this is so common that we are not ever told or trained how to talk about our feelings. And feelings bottled up explode. You put them up here because you've been trained to. It's the only thing that you were allowed to do as a kid. And so we need to also stop the mental pattern in its tracks. And so you're going to use the 5-second rule. The fear comes up. You're going to say, what are you going to say when the fear comes up?
I'm stronger than I think I am.
No, I want something with a swear word in it.
Cut that crap.
Cut that crap. Cut that crap. I'm fine. Cut that crap. I'm stronger than I think I am. Cut that crap. I'm stronger than I think I am.
Whereas my voice always tells me, cut it out.
There you go. There you go. Cut it out. So that's what you're going to say to cut it off. The most important part, though, is practicing the distancing from the feeling in your chest to your thoughts. You feel the feeling? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take a deep breath. Distance, that micro distance, and now you can say, cut it out. Cut the crap. I'm not thinking about that shit right now. I'm thinking about something else. Not allowed to think about that. I'm fine today. And if you have to do that 173 times, that's the work. And that's okay. Because the more you redirect your thoughts to cut the crap, I'm fine, I'm not allowed to think about that, the more you're going to train your own mind that I don't connect the fear with the thought. I feel the fear. I take a breath, I count backwards, I take a step away from it, and then I tell my mind, I'm not thinking about that crap right now. That is the work you need to do. The other work that you need to do is you need to sleep. I
haven't been sleeping.
Well, I'm not surprised. You need to move your body every day, stream a class online and move your body because you store all that in your body. Hugely important. Eating healthy food right now, hugely important.
I've been doing that. Actually, one of the good things that came out of this whole thing is, since I've been home, I cut sugar out of my diet completely. I've been doing yoga. I have a friend who does virtual yoga. And I've been doing that.
Keep doing yoga every day. Practice the tools that I'm giving you. And when you feel the anxiety and you start to feel the shame and why can't I, remind yourself you would rather have deep feelings than be somebody who lives their life numb. That is no life at all.
I like that.
I like it a lot. I also think that you should get into therapy if you're not, and you should explore some of the modalities related to trauma like EMDR, because this is all stored in your nervous system. And you can do the work to start to heal it by distancing the nervous system response, the fear response from what you think about it. But getting into therapy and doing some of the modalities around PTSD would be hugely helpful for you. Okay. Got it? Good. I'm proud of you, by the way. I know it took a lot for you to reach out. I know it took a lot for you to talk about this. I am confident that you are stronger than you think. I am confident that you can cut the crap when it comes to the things that you're thinking. And I am confident that you can create distance between the PTSD nervous system response from the trauma and your anxiety spinning out of control. All right. So let me know how you're doing in about a week.
Yeah, I'll message you and let you know. I'll text you.
I would love that. I would love that. Everybody say goodbye to her and give her a bunch of hearts and thank her, since she's doing the work for all of us. And if you have a question, I know that you're thinking right now, how the heck do I get on a video with Mel? I have a question. I need coaching. It's really simple. Below, you'll see our community texting platform. It's where you can get your questions answered. It's the easiest way to stay in touch with me. There are tens and tens of thousands of people on our texting platform. We don't sell you anything. We don't send your number anywhere. It is just for us to stay in communication, and it's also how we find you in order to coach you in this video. So if you have a question, if you want to be in it, send a text to that number. You'll get a text back from me. You have to opt in, and then that's it. It's free. It is awesome. And I would love for you to be a part of that community, and I would love to see you on a video and coach you. So I hope that was helpful. If it was, or if you think it would be helpful for somebody that you love, please share this coaching session with them. And if there's anything that I can do to help you, please do not hesitate to ask. I will see you tomorrow at the exact same time. And in case nobody else tells you today, I want to tell you, I love you. I believe in you. You are going to get through this. You are going to emerge stronger and more resilient. And I will be here cheering for you and teaching you and giving you tools every step of the way. I'll see you later.